Welcome to the Recruitment Spotlight, the show where we talk to recruits from all over the country. I'm your host, Ava Garza, and each week we break down the recruitment journeys of top prospects across the nation. This is where you'll hear the stories behind the stats and what it really takes to get to the next level. Today, I'm so excited to say that we have Tristin Gaines on the show today from Waller, Texas, which, if y'all know me, y'all know that it is not far. I'm so excited to have you on the show. How are you doing today?
Good. How about you?
I'm doing good. I'm really excited for this one because we don't get to interview a whole bunch of hometown guys, so I'm pumped. So we're gonna start off. I mean, you're known as a dual sport athlete, but before we talk, recruitment buzz, there was, you, a kid from Waller, Texas. So take us back to, those early days. What sports did you first fall in love with, and when did football and baseball start to rise, to the top?
I think I started playing football and baseball when I was like around 5, and then I always been playing since I was young. And then I feel like 8th grade year is when it started to get serious. I started to realize I could take it somewhere big.
So fast forward from, I guess you could call it backyard games to FNL at Waller High School. I mean, it's kind of rare for a freshman to even see varsity playing time period, but you stepped in starting quarterback your first year. That's a huge leap, not just physically, but, mentally. I imagine it came with a lot of pressure and some excitement. So we'll talk about that. What was it like leading your team as a freshman QB, and what did you learn from that experience?
What I learned, I feel like when I first started, I was a little nervous, a little, shy because I get in front of old guys. But once I started, taking that role and starting to have to lead my team to win, I feel like I started see myself develop more into the player I wanted to be and just be a great teammate and a person on and off the field.
So, leadership on the field quickly turned into, some recognition off the field, which is always, great to see. It's not every day that we see a class of 2028 athlete, rack up, some type of verbal offers from schools like, UTSA, Baylor, TCU, SMU, Houston, Texas Tech, and, that's a big moment for any athlete, especially while still in high school. So, how have you navigated that attention, and what has the recruiting process been like for you so far?
It's been great. Having to get offers is it's a true blessing. I know God has a plan for me, and it's all for a reason. So I just stick to His plan and let it all plan out.
So, we talked about you being a dual sport athlete a little bit. You're not just a standout, on the football field. On the diamond, you've also been, making a name for yourself, earning a Golden Glove award as a freshman shortstop, and, even getting the call to the Hank Aaron Invitational. That's kind of an elite space for some of the best baseball talent. So what did those honors mean to you, and what have you taken away from that baseball experience?
It meant a lot. Just all the hard work I put in and dedication and sticking to my routine all through the week. It means something special that I can take baseball and football somewhere big one day. What my dreams want to be.
I always have to ask. I mean, we talked about how 8th grade year is really whenever things started picking up for you a little bit. So I mean, it's always a little bit different going from something that, is just like a fun game to play, and now it's, getting a little bit more serious. I mean, we're talking about college ball. So what kind of changed in your routine getting you from, 8th grade to now kind of getting ready for college ball?
I just gotta. I feel like it's different because you gotta have like the mindset to like if it was easy, everybody would be doing this. So like I feel like I gotta have that same mindset. Just that if I want to take it somewhere like where I want to go one day, I just gotta work harder than everybody else.
Yeah, and I mean, as you bring that up, most athletes would be, really, really excited to be good at one sport, but I mean, you managed to do two. At the same time, that's a lot of dedication, time management, and like you said, a whole lot of discipline. I want to pull back the curtain a little bit. What does your training schedule actually look like whenever you're balancing football and baseball? And mentally, how do you keep that focus and energy for both?
Um, Throughout the week, I have early morning workouts, and then I probably transition to football, just go to my football stuff, and then in the afternoon or like noontime I'll baseball work a little bit, hitting off the tee, ground ball work, and that's really just every day. And then I have of course recovery because recovery is important. And then and then what was the other question you asked?
We said mentally, how do you keep the
Oh,
focus and energy for both?
I just really just try to stay calm and just stick into my routine and just stick to my routine so I won't get out of control with it and just stick to my routine really.
So whenever we talk recovery, I mean, you said it yourself, that's a really, really big, important part of, being good at a sport. And it can be kind of hard to, take a step back and give your body, that rest that you need. So was there a certain spot where you were like, okay, I need to like take a second and give myself a break?
Yeah, I feel like when I take myself a break, I feel like when I was watching film, I could see that I was like just I look on film, I look tired and just exhausted. So I feel like some days I just need to take a break and just recover mentally and physically.
So, future is always on your mind. Multiple offers and, the ability to compete at the next level in more than one sport. I mean, there's a big decision ahead, football, baseball, or maybe even both. So, whenever you think about the next few years, what factors are going to be the most important in deciding your path forward?
Really my family first. See how they treat my family. What's the best fit for me? Just just let it in God's hands and just let Him plan and trust in His plan.
So we talk about Waller. It's a real small town, So if anyone was going to go and visit Waller, what's the one thing that you think that they absolutely have to do?
Um, well, let me think. Um, Really, I really say go by our stadium. We redid our stadium. We're sponsored by Daikin now for our stadium. They redid everything, lights, seats, stadium. We got new turf, so it's really cool, especially on a Friday night. It's awesome. It's an awesome experience.
So, I mean, coming from a small town like that, everyone kind of knows everyone. I mean, is it fun to kind of see people that, you kind of grown up with come and watch you, on Fridays now?
Yes, man. Of course. People I used to look up to when I was little. Just to see them come support me while I'm playing the football. It's just really something special. And I see my community behind me supporting me through everything. It's just real special to me.
So we kind of touched on it a little bit. We saw you, eighth grade, and then all of a sudden there was this complete flip. I mean, eighth grade ball to high school ball is a big transition, and you did
Definitely.
it no JV necessary. We went straight from eighth grade to varsity. We see someone from, people from your own community doing big things. If you could leave one piece of advice for young athletes chasing big dreams, whether in small towns or big cities, what would you tell them?
I would tell them no matter what nobody says, just keep working, keep pushing forward, and just dream big. Whatever you want to accomplish, just put your head down and go get it.
So we've talked about your high school varsity football and baseball journey. Another key part of development, kind of flies under the radar, summer 7-on-7 competitions. You've been linked with Cypress Elite, one of the top 7-on-7 squads in Texas. We talk about quick reads, precision, timing, skills that are crucial for a dual sport athlete like you. So we're gonna talk about that a little bit. So tell us about your time with Cypress Elite 7-on-7 team.
It's been great. I just met with them this year from a football game, Friday Night Light game against Hot Springs. Ever since I made that connection, just things been great. Just the connections I made, the people I met, and just the brotherhood bond I met with them. And it's just for something special. They did a lot for me, been there for me mentally and physically. So shout out to them.
So what does the calendar look like during the off season with them?
Off season with them, we had some practices. Get our timing down, our receivers, our plays, and get them all right. And then weekends we got to go out there and compete and just do what we do.
So, what aspects of the 7-on-7 game, route timing, quick decision making under pressure, smaller field spacing, what part of that has kind of helped sharpen your skills as a quarterback during the regular football season?
Like reading the field better, just reading what they're showing me, what the defense is showing me, what I could do to make the defense guess, or what I'm saying, just read the defense honestly, and just quick decisions.
So, I have to ask you because we just saw the info drop that site just announced their partnership with Never Broke Again Sports. So, for those people that out there that are watching that aren't super involved in 7-on-7, what does that mean for y'all?
I mean something big, partnering with a big time name like that. It's just gonna keep growing. We're gonna keep growing. Just keep getting bigger and just so, just keep supporting what we're building on, and it's being great.
So, playing for anything like, Cypress Elite, Houston in general is a really, really tough space to compete in general as far as recruitment. Regional, competitive, and, 7-on-7 in general often draws a lot of college coaches during the off season. So being exposed to, that defensive talent and high speed passing concepts, how has playing with Cypress Elite influenced your recruitment process or your football IQ?
They have good college connections. They just the connections I made with them. It got me my college recruitment more, increasing. The connections I made with coaches, and then just people they meet me with is just, it brings me the attention that I get.
So whenever you're transitioning back to Waller for high school football, what do you bring from those summer 7-on-7 experiences in terms of leadership, tempo, and confidence?
Just applying it back to my team, and just doing what I learned from there and taking it from there, and just being better as a full team, and just applying knowledge to my guys at my Waller team.
And then last question, what has been, the biggest, shocking experience, I guess, for you getting to go visit all of those colleges?
Like at all the schools, like the shocking experiences.
Mhm.
Um, I probably say when I took my visit to LSU, it was something special. They took me around campus, showed me like where the great like the field. When I walked in the field, like, it gave me chills. Death Valley that's something special right there. So that's probably one of the top things right there. Just walking in Death Valley gave me chills. Really feel like it's an amazing environment.
So, I mean, is there anything that you want to plug and promote before we wrap this one up?
Um, I want to say look out for Waller this year. We gonna prove a lot of y'all wrong this year.
Perfect. So that's a wrap on this episode of the Recruitment Spotlight on Voice of College Football. Big shout out to our guest. I don't know about y'all, but I'll be watching Waller very, very closely this season. And of course, thanks to y'all for tuning in and riding with us. If you haven't already, go hit that follow button on Instagram. You can find the show at Voice of College Football. And to keep up with all of my sideline shenanigans, go ahead and follow my Instagram over at Have a Great Day. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, and share this episode with your sports crew. Stay locked in, stay hungry, and I'll see you next time. Same time, same place on the Recruitment Show.